Wildman Paul with Project Perch. We're at Parkland Golf and Country Club. They're going through a major course renovation, and they have a burrowing owl that's in the way. So we pulled a permit with the Florida Fish and Wildlife. A week and a half ago, we installed these artificial burrows here behind me. And today is moving day. We're going to go out and actually scope and excavate the natural burrow that's out on the course. This location where we put the artificial burrows, we wanted to keep the owls back away from the actual course. So we put it close to the clubhouse restaurant area. And this area, if there's enough room to add an additional pair of burrows if needed in the future. Unfortunately, when we went to dig here, this was when the course was developed, there was a lot of fill and it was hard rock. So it took a long time to break through the ground to make room for the artificial burrows. We were using spud bars, pickaxes, but eventually we were able to get the burrows in place. If you see here, this right here is a talon, owl talons. That tells me that the owls have visited here. What we'd like to do is after we do the inspection, we'll smooth out the sand, and that tells us if they've come back another time. So now on our next trip, we'll know if owls visited today. So we'll go on out to the course and we'll remove the natural burrow. Hey Joe, we just checked out the artificials that you put in for us. Okay. And I did see some talon marks. Really? Yes. Good. So that's good. He visited there. He didn't actually go down the hole yet, but at least, you know, he's around somewhere. Good. And that is the permit. Okay. So if FWC were to show up here, you have it available and you provided this on request. We will put that in a report. So you're very compliant. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Now we're going to head up. We're going to dig out that burrow. We'll put our cameras down. Let me know, Paul, be careful of the cart paths. They're doing a lot of concrete work, so there's a lot of cutouts. Okay. Just be aware. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thanks. Bye, Joe. Such a gorgeous morning out. Beautiful new grass, new sand. It's like a brand new course. You can see in the distance the yellow rope. That's where we're headed. Should have brought my clubs. You should have brought your clubs. Yes, sir. On the post was a camera, and they had actually had some vandals come out. They covered the camera and they filled in the hole. Wow. But because it was monitored, they were able to get out, open the hole. I came out, we reported it to the Florida Fish and Wildlife law enforcement. And the owl wasn't injured. We were able to open back up the burrow. And so there was no actual harm. This burrow has not been used in a few weeks. Owls will often this time of year abandon a burrow only to return to it at a later time when it's breeding season. This tunnel is still intact And I know the owl is still around because we saw the talons at the new artificial burrows. So what we'll do today is we're going to put our cameras down just to make sure that there's no eggs or flightless young, and then we'll excavate this and backfill it. First thing we're going to do is we'll remove the rope and the post. No need to have these anymore. I love what I do. I get to come out to places like this, be out in nature, take care of the threatened species. It really gives me a reason to get out of bed in the morning, get out to work. Our groups all volunteer, and it's nice to be able to volunteer with something that makes a difference. I am looking for the application that runs this camera. So on the end of this cable is a camera, and the control is by the phone. You can turn the light up high or low. I like it high because it's going to be inside a dark tunnel. And we put on a hook fitting. It keeps the dirt from plugging up the front of the camera with dirt so that you're able to see. If you don't have that hook on there or you have a different fitting, it'll often cover with dirt, and that will obscure your view. So this looks pretty good. You can see the roots of the vegetation growing into the tunnel. Okay, I'm not able to get around. If there's a bend here, there's usually some kind of bend. So we'll take a shot. Take a shot of that. We've scoped about this far. What's that? Maybe 2.5, 3 feet. So now we're going to excavate this portion. And we found the back wall. This was very short. One of the shortest burrows I've seen. So the owl that lived here on the course is going, hopefully we're going to be able to convince the owl to move to the artificial burrows over by the clubhouse and not be on the course. Naturally, Parkland Golf and Country Club, they want to complete their restoration project. That includes this area as well. So we filed a permit with Florida Fish and Wildlife that allows them to put in mitigation burrows, which we've done, and then to scope and excavate this burrow as long as the work is done by a registered agent for burrowing owls with the Florida Fish and Wildlife. And that would be me. I found a small bend. I thought I was at the back wall, but I just wanted to make sure that little bend didn't go any farther. So every time you excavate, when you think you're at the back wall, you always dig a little deeper and you go left, right, and back to make sure you're not missing a tunnel. And I found what seems to be a little more tunnel, just a little bit deeper. So we're going to continue to excavate. I was surprised that I thought I had the back wall so short. Owl burrows normally go longer. So I kept searching and I found more tunnel. We'll continue to dig. Okay, we found the very back wall of the tunnel. So we're going to take a picture of this all the way at the back. Okay, so we have a picture of the back. We'll get a picture of the shape. If you notice, the tunnel goes straight and then it bends just a little to the right. There's always a bend in the owl tunnel. It helps block light flow so that the owls have not direct sunlight coming in to where their chamber is. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a tape measure in, take a picture of the measurement. All right, so we're going to take a couple of pictures for the reports. We file the reports with Florida Fish and Wildlife. Lock in there, okay. Sometimes I have to talk to the tape measure. All right, so we'll get a picture, another picture showing it. It's at the back wall, here, and then we'll come down and get a picture. This thing's like right at 4 feet. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is just to backfill it. Try to make it as not a tripping hazard. Joe will have his crew come out here and they'll resod this area. They'll dig it all out. Normally when you have a burrow, you'll have a mound. So sometimes you can dig out that mound and use that as backfill. Normally when we scope and excavate a burrow for a permit, we're concerned that the owl will just come and redig. But because in this case, the owl hasn't been here in a few weeks, there's no reason to expect him to come back, so we don't have to make the surface impenetrable. Okay, so we're finished at Parkland Golf and Country Club. We've had the owl visit the new mitigation burrows. We saw owl footprints there. And we saw that the owl had not been using this burrow. It had grown over with vegetation, but the tunnel was intact. So we were able to successfully scope and excavate the burrow. We backfilled it, and now the crew is here. They're going to reside this entire area today to prevent any future digging. So we're gonna remove our sign and turn it over to the crew at Parkland Golf and Country.